All right, so a few weeks ago, I made a video about SoFi when it was sitting around 1587 with a muddy water short report hanging over it and a lot of people panicking out of the position. I said I was holding my assigned shares. I was selling, covered calls against them as best I could, and I was watching closely for the business developments that would either confirm or change that view that I had with SoFi. And this week, SoFi ran from the mid 15s to nearly 20 bucks. That's close to a 25% move in roughly 5 trading sessions. And for anyone who's been in this position or is thinking about getting in now, the question isn't just, why did it run, right? The question is, what does this change about SoFi and what doesn't it change? So let me walk you through what actually drove this move on SoFi, because there were several things that landed all at the same time. So the biggest catalyst was the launch of SoFi Big Business Banking, okay? This is a new platform targeting enterprise clients, not consumers, okay? That allows companies to manage both traditional fiat deposits and crypto assets inside a single nationally chartered bank. It includes SoFi's own stablecoin, SoFi USD, and runs a blockchain rails like Solana with 24/7 API-based settlement. Early partners include MasterCard and BitGo, one of the largest institutional crypto custodians, and that's a significant strategic announcement for them. SoFi has spent years being described as a consumer fintech lender. The Big Business Banking launch signals something way different, an ambition to become infrastructure for both traditional finance and digital assets simultaneously. That combination under a federal bank charter is genuinely unusual, and the market obviously has responded to it positively. Alongside that, SoFi's technology subsidiary Galileo completed its integration with the FedNow network, the Federal Reserve's real-time payment system. That means SoFi members and partners can now send and receive instant bank transfers 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Speed in banking infrastructure matters more than it sounds. It's a competitive feature that legacy banks still haven't even fully built out yet. And the third piece is timing. Q1 2026 earnings are scheduled for April 29th. When a stock has strong news catalyst 2 weeks before its earnings, investors tend to position ahead of the report. That buying pull forward amplified this move we saw. And as of April 17th, SoFi trading near $20, up significantly from its recent lows. And here's how I'm processing this all and this move given my specific position. Look, I was assigned a lot of puts above current market price, all right? Give me an amen in the comments if you did too. And what that means is I own shares at a cost basis higher than where SoFi was trading at a few weeks ago, and even now a little bit. And I've been selling covered calls on those positions to reduce the cost basis over time. And this week's run doesn't change the fundamental thesis I had when I decided to hold through the muddy waters pressure. If anything, it's confirming it for me. But I want to be honest about the distinction between the business development and the stock's reaction, right? The catalysts are real. SoFi is executing on platform expansions that move it beyond just consumer lending. That has long-term implications for revenue diversification and multiple expansion avenues. But the stock has now moved 25% in a week. That price reflects more optimism than it did 2 weeks ago, which means the margin of safety has compressed for sure. The covered call framework I use in situations like this, when a stock runs sharply, the covered call strikes that previously looked out of the money are now much more closer to the current price, right? That changes the risk reward of the options I'm writing. I need to recalibrate rather than continue on autopilot here. But let's talk about why the Big Business Banking launch actually really matters here, because most consumer fintech companies have a specific ceiling on their business model, right? They acquire retail customers, they sell them financial products, loans, credit cards, banking, and the growth story depends on the member count and the product penetration per member. And that's a fine model, and a predictable one. SoFi's Big Business Banking platform, which targets, again, those enterprise clients and allows companies to manage fiat and crypto transactions within one regulated system, puts the company in materially different territory now. Enterprise banking generates fee income that doesn't depend on the same credit cycle dynamics as consumer lending does. Stablecoin settlement, custody relationships, and 24/7 API payments open up revenue streams that didn't exist in the prior versions of SoFi's business model, okay? The combination, right, real brands, real rails, and a federal charter is giving SoFi a rare spot at the intersection of traditional finance and and digital assets, okay? There aren't many federally chartered banks right now running stablecoin infrastructure, with MasterCard as an early partner. There's just not. Now, whether that distinction scales into meaningful revenue is really the unresolved question, but the strategic positioning, in my opinion, it's legitimate for sure. But let's talk about the FedNow integration as a compounding factor, right? Because the FedNow rollout enables SoFi members and partners to move cash between banks in seconds, any time of day. This sounds like a technical feature, not a business catalyst, but in the context of what SoFi is building, it is a platform deepening story. Enterprise clients that use big business banking are also getting real-time settlement infrastructure. The two announcements reinforce each other. They're not separate product launches. They're in the same infrastructure story told from really just different angles. So here's where I want to stay a little bit grounded, because the analyst landscape on SoFi right now is mixed in a specific way worth understanding, in my opinion. Barclays has a price target of 18, Wells Fargo at 18, Keefe Bruyette maintains an underperforming rating with a $20 target, and the message is being great story, but expectations are being reset heading into Q1 earnings. The median analyst target across recent coverage is closer to 25 to 26. And at 1979 today, the stock is trading above the more cautious targets and below the more optimistic ones. What that spread tells me is the business, it's not broken, but the execution risk on the new initiatives we're talking about hasn't really been fully resolved. Keefe Bruyette's reaction to the big business banking launch was essentially like, we like the idea, we're not ready to re-rate until the numbers catch up. That's the appropriate cautious stance on a company that's still generating negative free cash flow while growing revenue rapidly. I will be the first to admit that. So here's how I'm running covered calls after this 25% run. And this is the most practical question for anyone who held through the volatility these past few weeks. When SoFi was at 15 and 16, selling a covered call at 18 or 19 gave some meaningful room for appreciation before assignment. That call was well out of the money then, generated some decent premium for us, and it felt very comfortable. With the stock now near $20, the dynamics have shifted. A 21 or 22 call is still out of the money. There's still upside room before assignment, but the premium profile it changes because the stock has already absorbed most of that near-term catalyst. The IV that spiked during the Muddy Waters controversy and the earnings run up is now the same IV that we're selling into. So my current approach is this: I'm selling covered calls at strikes above my cost basis or as close as I can, with expirations after the 29th, at least after the 29th. And that's deliberate. I want the stock to have its earnings reaction before I commit to a specific exit price, okay? An upside surprise on the 29th could push this thing to 22, 23 or higher. A disappointing result could pull it back towards 17 or lower. I'd rather give the position that range and then sell a call this week that gets exercised right before, a potential, earnings catalyst, okay? And SoFi's move this week is not random, in my opinion. The big business banking launch, the FedNow integration, and earnings positioning all are contributing to a compressed move that reflects real business development. The company is doing something genuinely different, right? They're building regulated banking infrastructure that spans both traditional finance and digital assets. And the market has obviously acknowledged that positively. What it doesn't mean though is this, that the risk is gone. It's just not. Free cash flow is still kind of negative. Margins are kind of thin. The Muddy Waters accounting concerns haven't really been formally resolved. Management kind of just dismissed them, but that's not the same as disproven, all right? The April 29th earnings report is the next real test of whether the product expansion is showing up in actual revenue, and I'm very optimistic. But for us option sellers in this position, the covered call strategy after a sharp run requires way more deliberate strike selection, not less. The premium is richer because the volatility is elevated. The risk is also higher because the stock has moved significantly and earnings can cut either way. Those two things are true simultaneously. So I got some questions for you guys in the comment section. If you held SoFi through the Muddy Waters sell-off and this week's recovery, did the run change how you're thinking about your covered call strikes, or are you just staying the course with things? And number two, for anyone watching from the sidelines on SoFi, does the current price near $20 feel like a reasonable entry for a put position ahead of earnings, or are you waiting to see what this April 29th report gives us? And guys, I want to invite you to the Ark Options Strategy workshop. Click the first link in the description of today's video. It's 90 minutes. I give you 3 3 free bonuses. Number one, you're going to get 15 of my favorite Ark Options Strategy stocks. You're going to get my 2 premium calculators. You're also going to get my full trade log. This is perfect for those of you that are just getting started with running the wheel strategy or selling options. Click the first link in the description of today's video, guys. Remember, sell options, collect premiums, repeat. I'll see y'all tomorrow.